Rob, you're familiar with the story of Harry and Meghan. What do you make of it?
Well, there's a couple of stories. The story of their relationship. There's the story of their.
No, I'm talking about the recent interview.
Okay.
With Oprah Winfrey.
Okay, so talking about the conflicts with the royal family, which they are a member of. So, yeah, the situation with their relationship with their Meghan with her in-laws, and her husband's relation with her father and family.
Yes.
That's great. I'm all ears.
Well, is there a way that, considering the tradition, the rich tradition of the royal family, right? Do you think that this could have been better handled by Harry, for instance?
He appears to me to be a very be a perfect gentleman, and I mean, like, he seems to be thoughtful. He seems to be considerate. He seems to be sensitive. So I would imagine that is, and like he said himself, he's probably tried to deal with the issues privately. I have no doubt that he's done that, as he said.
Let's look at it from this angle. First of all, there seem to have been some innate conflicts within Prince Harry himself, which has sort of metamorphosed into this, bringing in a new party, Meghan, and their children.
Yes.
We're assuming that perhaps he suffered depression because of what happened with his mother, Princess Diana, and that has imparted his outlook. My question is this: he seems to have jettisoned his own family, if you pass for extended family, choosing to go with Meghan.
Yes.
Is there a way he could have done this, handling all of this, such that he keeps intact the relationship with the extended family and still enjoy the relationship with his immediate family?
Well, I again think that is a very sensible person. But don't forget that he didn't just go off and marry Meghan. They had the proper introductions to the families concerned. They had the consent and proven support of the parents and grandparents. They had a marriage tradition of the family. There was nothing done that was off. He did things, and they did things normally. So I don't see a problem with the way the wedding and the marriage happened. But you have also raised other issues. The issue of himself and the struggles that were probably going on in his mind concerning his background, which is very important. You can't cut him away from the hand. You can't cut Harry from the hand. That's his mother. And I think that her death was probably more traumatic for him than for the brother because he was younger and probably closer. Not because of any preference, but because he was younger. So there would have been issues he was dealing with. I mean, myself and you earlier today talked about conflict. Now, I said that conflict is not a bad thing. And one of the things I try to do is show people that conflict is not a bad thing. Conflict is just a measure. That's what conflict is, a measure of a relationship. of the status of relationship, of the situation of relationship, of the condition of relationship, of the place of relationship. So it was inevitable that himself and all of us would have conflict in access. And I also mentioned in our earlier discussion that it's what drives relationships are conflicts. If you don't have a conflict, you don't have a relationship. What does a relationship do? Prima facie, a relationship addresses the conflicts you are dealing with. You go into a relationship to deal with it and to resolve and to solve a conflict that is in your mind now. But then you get into a relationship, then you should expect more conflict. So let's go back to the story at hand, Harry and the wife, Meghan. Okay, so what happened? I strongly believe that Harry experienced the trauma that came from his mother's death, the loss of his mother, and the circumstances that led to, but that preceded her death, issues of similar to what they are having, issues of race. I think that they formed him like they as it were decided his options. So while still being in the family that he was, I think, beginning to look at the world the way probably his mother was going to look at it more globally, more inclusively. And so it was ready to go out of this usual space, common space, what is common, what is normal, what is norm, and to see the humanity in others more, to see more. I think he was able to see more. And that made him able to marry a biracial woman, which for me is an incredibly beautiful thing, that because there's only one human being, really. The shade of our skin is second. There's only one human being. And that is why that's why human beings from whatever race could mate and have children. It's because they're basically one. So it was not just courageous of him. It was also teaching the whole of humanity how we should be looking. So his conflict.
Okay. Considering the facts at hand, if we are to look at resolving the differences, what would be your advice? A, to the royal family, and B, to Harry and Meghan?
Well, first, I'm impressed that the royal family, from the reports I've read, has issued a statement saying they want to look at this. And that's, again, courageous, step in the right direction. And I think that the person of Harry has contributed to this. I have no doubt that his grandmother loves him. Which is normal. I mean, I love my granddaughter. I mean, I think that's probably saying the obvious. But I think that he's very special to her. And I think that, again, she's has to deal with her own internal conflicts. How do I, coming from what I'm used to, what we are used to in this family, to this new place that my grandson is taking us, how do I navigate it? And I think she's done a good job so far. I'm sure that she's a strong voice behind the statement that was issued that the family wants to look at this conflict, this challenge, this problem. So now, what's my advice to them? I think they should continue in that frame of mind. And you don't play the ostrich and solve the problem. They should look at it. I think the British royalty of 2021 cannot be the British reality of 1921. And so, and they are engaging, they've said they will engage the issues, they should engage it. That the young man, actually, that's the Queen's great grandson. And that young man, that boy, is not possible. You can't see him outside of the Queen. That's the Queen. That is Prince Philip. That's Prince Charles. That's a whole family. Like I said, there's only one human being in the world. I know we see billion, but I see just one human being. And I see him in that boy. And I see the great grandmother, and I see her mother, and I see his mother, his grandmother and him, his mother, his grandmother on the mother's side too, and his grandfather. I see the whole of our humanity in action. And I think we should celebrate that and begin to move from racism, which is really, you are going to give me a word about Neolithian, that there was a race that existed before. So racism is old, it's dated, it's not what we should be doing now, because it dehumanizes us deeply, deeply. So I think the royal family is moving in that direction. I think they should continue to move in that direction. And I think they will be teaching us a lot if they resolve this holistically. I think they can provide leadership. They have a history, they have a leverage, they have a pedigree which can help mankind to become less racist and more human. And that will make us progress, because it will bring more people into the human decision table, where a decision about life is made, and then we'll be able to be more inclusive and therefore derive benefit from the fact that more people are part of the discussion that shape human history, human life, economics, government, and all that.
And I think that's for the royal family.
That's what the royal family is.
For Harry and Meghan, they should continue on this trajectory of using the press to lash out.
Well, he knows that. Well, I don't use the word lash out. They didn't lash out. They were frustrated. And we can't be frustrated. And you have the right to be frustrated. I'm a mediator, but I get frustrated sometimes. I get angry sometimes.
So how do you bring it out?
Yeah, that's what. Number one, I'm not against the way they brought it out. I'm not against it, because from what Harry said, they've tried to deal with this privately. Apparently, they could not get good results. Now that they've come out with good results, and you have to appreciate that fact that their coming out is making things happen, improve. And one of the things I said in my lectures is that my lectures, How to Deal with Conflict, lecture series, is that not everybody wants to have a more peaceful, a more humane society, world. I'm very sensitive to that. One of the things I teach is that a mediator must have a healthy sense of evil. You must know that there are people who do not support good. I think their coming out is helpful. If it was not helpful, the royal family would not make the statement they made, the wonderful statement they made. They are responsible people, and they don't play with trivials. So to the interview, where they expose their frustration and their suffering and pain, I think that was useful. Going forward is what matters. What do we do with it? There's a conflict. How do you deal with it? Because we talk about the way the conflict was floated and leave the conflict itself. What I'm more interested in, how this conflict is resolved. But I have no doubt that we have enough good people in the world to help them. And I have no doubt that they have, even in the family itself, they have enough resources, and wits and leverage to resolve the conflict amicably.
So when it comes to conflict resolution, there comes a time in which you must do your long read publicly.
Yeah, that conflict sometimes, that's what some people say, and I believe in it, that there's a maturity there's a maturity date for conflicts when you can then start resolving that. So I think the conflict had reached a head. So yeah, so it's not watching the thing outside. It's a conflict. I mean, the truth is that there's a conflict. It would have been nice in a way if it was privately resolved. It could not be. That's why it came out, I think. But how it came out, or how the conflict is floated, or how the incidence of a conflict is floated, is not as important as what happens going forward, which is managing it. And like I said, the press release by the royal family, they did a good job. Was great in it's kind of management. But again, so that does the tension, if any, and I think there may be some tension. That does the tension. That was very mature. And now they need to move forward. We've got to look at this problem. It's not just the problem of the royal family, it's a global problem. Racism is a global problem. People get killed because of the shape of their nose, because of the tone of their skin, because of the tenure of their voice. So it is a big problem. So we're grateful that the royal families are allowing mankind to use them to help us solve this human problem.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Sharing with us.
Thank you.
That's your take.
Yes, and I would like to say that I've just been having a discussion with my very good friend. I'm sure with the friend that I don't mention his name, but he was very interested in the Meghan Harry royal family story, and he felt that I do even that we should do this interview. He agrees with me like my school back in Texas be that when there is a conflict of this nature, I should talk about it. I should not just teach and research. I advise you to apply the skills that we learn together to the conflicts in their lives. I should also do the same thing and speak to the conflicts that happen. I did that with the January 6 violence at the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. And I'm grateful to my friend for the opportunity to talk about the current public that's become now public, more public. I'm sure. I think we already knew there was a challenge, but it's now out. The Meghan Harry royal family conflict. Thank you, and publishing this as part of the How to Resolve a Conflict lecture series as a case study. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to see if you pick up the book, How to Resolve a Conflict. It's available on all Amazon outlets globally. Remember to, if you would like to, send a comment. And most importantly, remember to apply the skills you are learning in this lecture series to the conflict in your life and life of other people. Thank you so much. And my name is Olajide Olajide.